Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
Dot, I assume Tom.
Rob
Hey,
Schneider,
brother.
it is a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations, first and foremost, on your recent conversion to Catholicism.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I think you picked the worst time to convert, just in time for Advent to start fasting for Christmas. So, your timing couldn't be more impeccable.
I know. You know what? Nobody explained that to me. They said, "Listen, this is what goes with it."
Well,
But, it's good. I'll talk to my priest about it.
Well, before we talk to Father Stephen, and I'm just throwing a name out there because there's a million Father Stephens, we are talking about daddy-daughter trip. You get to play with your own daughter in this film, Miranda, who plays Meara, and take her on an adventure while making out with one of your best friend's wives in Jackie Sandler.
I wouldn't say making out. I think there's one kiss in the movie.
We got to sell it somehow,
Okay, good. No, it's a family affair. I get to work with my best friend's wife, Adam Sandler's wife, Jackie, and she's terrific in the film. And I got to work with my comedic hero, John Cleese, and I got to write this with my other comedic hero, my wife, Patricia, and I got to work with my daughters. All three of them are in the movie, so that's pretty special. And the star of the movies is Miranda, who's just lovely in the picture. I mean, she's just a natural, I mean, if I didn't know that show business was so horrible for children, I'd have her do it full time, but it's horrible. It's bad for adults. Can you imagine kids?
God help them. But it's a fun time. You get to work with all three of your kids, your wife, your best friend's wife, or one of your closest friends' wives, and you just kept it all in the family. Is that more fun these days in having that core group than worrying about who else is going to be on set?
Right reason. But everybody's there for the right reason. That's important. You want everybody there because it's hard to make a movie. It's hard to work all day, and you got to focus, and you're trying to make something funny, and you want to make sure everybody's there for the right reason. And the family's always going to be there for the right reason. I hope. We were there we were in this together. So I was really appreciative to have the opportunity. It's hard to make a movie. It's the toughest thing in all show business. So you got to have everybody on the same page.
The film seems very much like a Chuck Jones philosophy in take your work, but never yourself too seriously. And the way you and your daughter play off each other throughout the majority of the film seems, as genuine as possible. It's not like, producer, star, that relation. It's really father-daughter throughout the whole.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it never loses you that that's my real daughter, and I also want to make it special for her. And she knew that it was going to be special for us, but also that it was going to be work. And sometimes it was work. You have to, it's a long day. And she had school. So she had to go to school and then also film. So that was tough. I mean, I only had to film, so for her, it was a real something, she really put her heart into it. And it's special because she's already 2 years older now, so it's like almost two. So it's like, you see it, it's like she's changed. It's like you realize how fast things go by, like her childhood.
Is it almost like a time capsule now that the whole family's together and it's caught in this moment of time in this fun family adventure?
I mean, they'll have this, my kids will have this movie, have it, they'll be able to show their kids this movie that we made as a family. That's beautiful.
I remember from your last stand-up special where she was, speaking Spanish more than she was speaking English at the time. And, she'd actually yell at you in Spanish sometimes. Does that still happen? And does that happen in between takes when she got frustrated with you?
She does speak, fluent Espanol. I don't. But no, she just gets mad at me in English now.
Bilingual rage at some point.
Yeah, we'll see.
The fun part about all this is that you and I both escaped San Francisco, so we have a similar mindset in having left our hometown. But
yeah, hopefully, I mean, they can clean it up quickly if they need to.
We found that out real quick.
If their favorite communist leader comes to town, they can clean it up in an afternoon, but they don't seem to care about cleaning it up for the average person, though, do they?
Not in
People who
particular.
live there, like us.
Yeah.
We live there. They never bother to clean it up. But when Zing Zhao Zuza comes in, Zing Zhao Ping Pong, he comes in. Sorry, Zing Zhao Ping, or I forget his name, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You're Filipino. You can be as angry at him as all you want.
No, it does make me mad though that they never cleaned up the city when I was living there.
Right.
And so I finally moved out. I couldn't take it anymore, and I hope that they keep it clean, but I don't think that they will.
We'll see in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the beautiful part with everything, like, what was the most memorable scene that you got to film in this, where, this is the moment you're like, all right, yes, it's work, but this is also very much a family moment?
There was a lot, truthfully. Like, by the pool scenes were fun. I really love the star scenes. We call it the star scenes because we're in a car looking at the stars. My daughter and I practiced that for about 9 months before we started filming. And I don't know if people realize that when you're making a movie, how hard it is to work with children, just to get them to be natural. And we practiced that scene because it was me and her and a lot of dialogue, and just looking at the stars and going, what we did before she goes to bed, we'd look out the window at her in her bedroom, and I go, I love you all the way to that star and back. And then that's a beautiful scene. If that doesn't break your heart, you don't have a heart. I love that scene. And it was something that is really the turning point in the movie, which I just, if you can get, if there's any scene that what I'd like to just show, it goes, well, that's what Rob Schneider did. He did that. I think that's a beautiful one.
No, it's a great moment. And I love the story and the fact that it's a father who just does not want to disappoint his child.
Yeah, I mean, no matter how much money no matter how much money you have, it's always about the experience, what you can give your child. That's your real wealth. It isn't money, it isn't homes, it isn't cars, it's your family, it's children. It's the experience. The childhood flies by. So, whether you have all the money in the world or not enough or very little, that child is going to go by just as fast. So it's about the quality of time and how much care and what you want to put into it. And, I want to travel with my kids as much as I can when they're still children. I can't wait to take them on the next one.
Yeah. And that was leading into the next thing. Is it more challenging to make a family film than it is a rated R film? Because it's easier to work comedy when, naughty language gets involved. But when you have to be clean or use entendre or keep it kid friendly, yet still engage the adults and the children, like, how's that is that more difficult?
I think you have to not intellectualize it. That's a very intellectual, Robert, you have to do what's true for the scene and what's true for the character and what's true for the movie. I mean, that's the thing I learned from Adam Sandler. He was probably the best of anybody I've ever known as a filmmaker, to keep an eye on the small picture, the medium-sized picture, and the big picture. The big picture is the whole movie itself and how everything, how that works as a movie. Medium-sized picture is like how those scenes work, pushing the movie along, and the music and how it flows. And then the small picture is like the individual jokes and characters and laughs and how those work. And I think you have to work from not an intellectual place of like what's harder or whatever, but what works for this particular movie, this particular scene, this particular joke. And you don't want to sacrifice your character for a joke, and you don't want to sacrifice your movie for a scene. I've done that before, and it's not good. You have to be careful. But I would say that there's a lot more love that's put into a family movie. I mean, there's some beautiful scenes in this one where she talks about I didn't tell her direction. She really knew what to do. I mean, she's a real natural. And she's just looking down and she's putting this book together, her book. And that's my wife speaking Spanish. Very authentica. And she's putting her book together and she said, Dad, but why did you quit your dream? And he says, someday when you dream, you have to wake up. That's such a lovely moment. and she's just perfection. You can't learn that. You either have that or you don't. And it was the love between me and her that made that scene special. And I'm, that's one of the ones where it's like, oof, that's a beautiful scene. Just nailed it. You couldn't give her when to look up, when to look down, how to ask a tough question, how to react to it, to make the other person not feel bad, even though you know that it made them feel bad. And then he tries to make her feel better. It's just, that's love. And that's something that if you can capture it on film, they say the word magic and they say it too often because it's very rare. But if you can capture that on film, that is magic. And that's a beautiful thing. And I knew we got it at the time. I feel emotional just talking about it. And in that scene, it was just, it's not getting emotional. It's covering the emotion for the other person so that they don't feel bad. It's beautiful. And it's really, it was a special moment that I'm very proud of. And she's already a big girl already, so that moment of her little childhood is gone. I mean, it just makes me tear up thinking about it.
Yeah. Rob, unfortunately, we ran out of time, but I would love to talk more about this and your conversion experience at a later date.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Do it at another time. I'd love it.
I'll send you a DM through Instagram and we'll talk there. But Daddy Daughter Trip is coming to DVD and digital on December 5th. Congratulations. Keeping this
Amazon download, Amazon digital download December 5th. You can pre-order it now, and it's going to be in every Walmart. You'll see it right by the cash register. You'll be hard not to see it at Walmart.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for your time. Like I said, I'll drop you a DM and we'll set that interview up about your conversion story because that sounds amazing.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. All right, you take care.